This is the Ottenstein Reservoir in Lower Austria. It's got a surface area of 4.3 square kilometres and it dates to 1912. The first turbines indeed can be seen at the bottom, and the date 1912 used until 1972. And they're right down there, and in the distance you can also see my motorhome. This will give you an idea of the size of it. So you can see that the Austro Hungarian Empire still could do magnificent things like this. It wasn't completely lost in tradition and the past. It was moving on. And there we can see the reservoir system here. So we're up here at the moment at the Ottenstein Reservoir, but there's another one called Dobra, which is a little bit further downstream, not very far, and Turnberg is also a little bit further beyond that. And according to this, it's enough to feed 77,000 households with 270 million kilowatt hours produced. $73 million cubic meters of water. Came here today, I was passing through, and I thought I'd ask the local tourist board via email what they think I should do while I'm here, and they said come here. So I've done that. And so I left my van down below. Don't suppose I'll be sleeping here because down below, well, it's pretty quiet now, but when vehicles go past, it sort of makes a bit of an echo inside and it intensifies the noise, so it seemed a bit noisy, so I think I'll give that a miss. But it's great to be able to walk here. And over there, hidden now by the trees, are two castles. And this is the sort of thing you can do if you have a van and you get off the motorway. Take the small roads. You find little gems like this, places you possibly have never heard of before. And bang. Fortunately around here they have an attitude which is that they don't have, well, they do have signs up saying you can't camp, because I saw one in the car park I passed on the way here, but it's not like the Tyrol where you'll get moved on. Around here they're quite happy for motorhomes to be here, but you know, there's a couple of campsites nearby, so there's nothing to worry about on that front. So places to stay. And fantastic weather after so long where it was so bad. And even today I was talking to somebody and he said, do you want to come into the shade? And to think that last Tuesday it snowed very close to where I was. I tell people, you know, don't go in July and August, go in April and May. Well, if they'd taken my advice this year, they're probably rather angry at me because it was awful. I should get a good view of the... And here, in this area of Lower Austria, I've noticed these rocky outcrops. And they're also the different types of rock. Now, here above all, it's granite, but as we move north, it sort of changes. And so we've got areas with sandstone, for example, and there's another area not so far with a different type of stone. And this produces that means the water is different, for example, or that will affect the environment. So different types of vegetation, which in turn will mean different types of wildlife. One thing I'd like to mention this year is that there's been a plague of adders in the UK, and it seems as though almost every day there's a story about somebody getting bitten by them. Now here in this part of the world we've got two species of poisonous snake. We've got the adder and the asp, and the asp is considerably more dangerous. Allegedly Cleopatra was bitten by an asp and that killed her as a way of committing suicide. That isn't what happened. Actually, I wrote an essay on this 4 years ago, although it was pretty common sense that it couldn't possibly have been an asp which killed her. I was coming off the subject a little bit. Now, as far as the adder is concerned, some of the people who've been bitten have been healthy, fit young men, and they have been hospitalised by it. Now, people have died of adder bites. When I was in the army, we did this basic training on Devon and Exmoor, and there was a warning in the Part 2 orders about adders, but it was said no one's ever died. Well, that wasn't true. I knew then that 7 people had died of adder bites. But then again, I had my boots on. I wasn't walking around like this, and you had protection on your ankles as well with puttees, so the bottom part of you was relatively okay. Part of the problem is that if there's lots of snakes because of environmental factors, and you go into the long grass or something, the natural reaction of the adder is to escape. In fact, nearly all poisonous snakes will do the same, including rattlesnakes. They will first escape. There are a couple of exceptions. One to this, he seems to have, he was a photographer, and he seems to have stopped to get out of his car to take a photograph, and he must have trod in a nest of them where the babies were. Now, the problem with all poisonous snakes is that, or nearly all poisonous snakes, is that the babies will give you a full shot of poison. They don't know how much is needed, and that full shot will be more than the adult will give. For example, a rattlesnake, it may be a killer. The poison can kill you, but in 30% of cases it'll be dry. They won't inject poison at all because they can't see the point. Now, an adult will know it doesn't want to lose its poison, which might be needed to get itself something to eat later. But the baby ones don't know that. So it would appear that he trod into a nest where there were little ones, got bitten several times, but he was paralysed for 7 hours. And he managed, after this time, to someone get his car out of him. He should have been driving, but anyway, he got himself to a friend's place somehow, and because he was sitting in the car, and from there his friend got him to hospital, where he was treated with the appropriate anti-venoms. So clearly there is a problem this year. That's in the UK. And one has to be careful. But if you see an adder, they run away. They're not going to. The adder is 100 times smaller than a person is. It's not going to put up a fight. So leave it alone. Let it slither away, and don't do anything. But if you do get bitten, you need to get help immediately. The biggest problem, I think, though, is from the dogs. Now, I saw in California how dogs got trained what to do when they see a rattlesnake. They will go, dogs are curious about what's going on, and they will go and investigate something. This is Ottenstein Castle. Dates to 1177. It clearly guards the pass. Okay, today we've got the dam there, but possibly in former times the bridge may have been a bit higher, but it would have been, the basic geography would have been the same as now. So today it's used as a hotel. Two dogs guarding the entrance. I knew of restoration work on the chapel. That must be it. Might be quite amazing, really. And the age of that. And it certainly doesn't look within Catholic tradition to me. There's something more Greek Catholic about it, in my opinion. If somebody asked me where I was right now, I'd say Venice. Down the well. So there, a bit of information. Construction started in the second half of the 12th century. And here we go. Renovate 1867, 1878. So, is what we see today, more representative of that. Oh, restaurant's closed, as it appeared to be. There's no shortage of parking here. And now, unfortunately, I've got to walk along the side of the road, no path. I knew that was going to be the case because just before I started filming, I had a little walk up here to see what the situation was. And I could see there was no path. Well, now it's getting late. I've got, what, an hour and a half of light left. Is it worth continuing on looking for somewhere to stop, or shall I just make myself comfortable where I am and put up with the racket? The choice of the camper. So there you see the dam from this side, and here are the turbines from 1912. Used for 60 years, as I said. Manufactured in St. Pölten. 7th of January 1912 to the 2nd of May 1972. Providing 359 million kilowatt hours. And there's the van. And there's the castle.